Welcome. We're here today with Jarvis Berry, and I really wanted to interview Jarvis because Jarvis is a native of the town that I live in, which is Buckeye, Arizona. But it's not that he's a native, it's what he's doing in the community that is amazing. Jarvis started a youth program in 2009 called Greater Levels, okay? He started off playing basketball. I'll let him tell you more about it, but I really want to introduce him. Sitting to my left is Jarvis Berry. Jarvis, how you doing today?
Pretty good, sir. How you doing?
We're doing great. Jarvis, we have this thing in the show, like when we first start off, we go, what's up with you? You know, and basically kind of just talk about what our week was like. So what's up with you, man?
Man, kids on spring break. That should say it all right there. I wish they go back to school or move out, whichever one comes first.
I'm telling you, right? Because look, the grocery bill goes high during spring break, man. I never missed school so much in my life, and it's not for me.
No, just get ramen noodles. They don't cost that much.
There you go, ramen noodles. You know,
ramen noodles.
These kids that eat through ramen noodles, pizzas, and everything else, man.
$5.
I came home and I seen a teeth mark in the door. I didn't know.
Dog food and ramen noodles.
Dog food. Is that your secret to these kids?
They think it's cereal.
They think it's cereal. Well, Jarvis, man, thank you for coming on the show, man.
I appreciate
that. And we appreciate you here in Buckeye for everything that you do. But I really want you to tell the listeners what it is that you started, and just tell your story. Everybody has a story, and we're here to hear yours.
Greater Levels, we basically just an outlet for kids to have something to do. Before I started Greater Levels, I was one of those that was, a good kid, went through high school, played football in college, all-around athlete. I can't say I was the smartest student, but I was a student. And it went good. I ended up having an era in my life where I decided I wanted to do drugs, and I was on meth for 7 years. And while I was on meth, I had an opportunity to see how kids were neglected. If you didn't have money, you couldn't do this. And mom and dads were, taking out of the kid's mouth. But looking at my dad when I was growing up, my father was always one of those that took care of the neighborhood.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
He had a good job. He worked for APS all his life. Him and my mom was really good. And we had that neighborhood kid house, where all the kids would be in the neighborhood.
Right.
You get in a fight today, and they come over to eat. Won't y'all go home? With one of those things. And it was always, our house was always full of kids. Right. And then when it was time to go play Pop Warner or Little League, there would be kids in the block that couldn't play because they didn't have the money. Right. And my dad I could always see my dad forking out $700 to $1,000 so all the kids in the neighborhood could play.
Right.
So it was one of those things. And so as I got a little older, I was like, you know what? I want to do those type of things.
Right.
Well, I ain't got no $800,000, $1,000 put out, but I could start an organization. So my son went to play one day. He would say, "Dad, let's go to the park. Dad, let's go to the park." And I knew God was calling me to do things. And so we went to the park finally after one day, and there was a whole bunch of kids in the park.
Right.
And I'm looking at all these kids, and I'm just like, man. Now God said, "Now pick a team." I don't want to coach no team. I don't know enough about basketball. Only thing I know is the playground. Right?
See, that's where I was at.
Yeah, that's all I know is the playground.
I play football. I don't know too much.
In the street, in the concrete, dirt, no grass. Yeah, I remember them days.
Yeah, I still got ball like that.
I still got rock marks. And so I decided to pick a team, and from there we had one team. We went and played. We went to Tucson and played in a tournament. And all these teams are decked out. They looking good.
Right.
We went in with some Mitch Max shorts on, regular T-shirt, but we won.
Right.
And so it was fun. As time went, I said, you know what? I'm going to start an organization. I wanted to start where all those kids that didn't have money, that couldn't afford it, where it would be affordable for them to play, and on top of that, give them an outlet. So they don't have to be at home and see the things that I've seen kids go through.
Right.
They don't have to sit at home and look at mom and dad do the things that they're doing. And so as time went, I finally formed an organization through God pushing me to do it. And I didn't want to do it, but I did it. So we started the organization. And from there, the first season, we had 7 teams. And then the next season, we jumped up. Here we are with 30-some teams the very next season. Now we're rolling like a 20-team, constantly.
That is amazing.
Constantly.
So let me ask you, I know it had to be scary starting an organization, for something like this. Like, you started in 2009. You're still going today. What do you think are the keys to success? Like if somebody say, you know what, they're listening to the show and they're saying, we need that here. We need that here. We don't have that here in this town. What some tips would you give somebody like that?
Man, keep it affordable. Just enough to cover what you need to cover.
Okay.
Because a lot of people don't have big money.
Right.
Just keep it affordable and keep it family oriented.
Right.
You got to keep everything as a family, because without a family, everything falls apart, right?
Right.
So if you keep it as a family and not just my way, but everybody has to have a say so.
Right.
You can't build nothing if you only got one person building it.
And that had to be hard because, parents always got to say so. Man. They didn't even put $10 in. I can't pay $10, but I don't like the way you coaching my kid.
Them the ones that's complaining the most.
Yeah.
I'd say, you know what? The parents, if I could deal with parents, I would kick them all out.
What did you tell me? Jarvis told me, we had the pleasure of talking yesterday, and I said, what's your next steps? What do you see? He said, man, I would really like to have a gym. And then he told me that he would build a plexiglass wall where parents with a little cutout.
Yeah.
Where parents, if you have to yell, you can yell through that cutout, but you can't do nothing else. It looked like you putting parents in a fish tank or something.
That's
like
fine.
that.
That's fine.
That's fine.
They'll be okay. Yeah, they can go out one way. I don't have to see them. And they can come in one way. I still don't have to see them through the plexiglass. That's it. So it happens.
So Jarvis, I know having kids, there was a lot of programs to where, me personally, I'm trying to teach my kid sportsmanship. I'm trying to teach them to be competitive but be respectful. And some of the things that they played, everybody got a chance to play. It wasn't really competitive. It wasn't competitive at all. It just kind of. How do you feel about that? Is your organization like that too? Do you have it where everybody or do everybody can play? I know everybody can play, but your work ethics, you're working hard, you're competing for a spot. If you win, you get a trophy or certificate. It's not like everybody get a trophy or certificate. Yeah. So I mean, how does that kind of how do you handle that?
I've learned if you teach them to be competitive at a young age, they're going to know that in life. I've seen where they go into the non-competitive areas, and when they get into a competitive setting, they don't know what to do. It's like, well, it's supposed to be like this. Well, mama been feeding you too much milk. You see what I mean? Daddy haven't been there to teach you how to be a man yet. There's things that they got to understand. You got to be competitive because now to the point of once you get to high school, it's going to be like either you make the team or you don't.
Right.
You see, so I want to teach them that now. They're going to get to play, but I tell the coaches all the time, when you get into the end of that third and fourth quarter, you want your best five on the court.
Right.
And if the parents complain, they just complain. Just let them know they need to get Johnny a little bit more coaching.
Right.
Something like that. But you have to be competitive. That's in your job market. Mm-hmm. That's in what you're doing now. Everything that you do, there's going to be some kind of competitiveness to go with it.
Right.
Unless you got the money to give them a silver spoon, and I don't have one.
Right. That's definitely. So, Jarvis, I know when you started this, you started it with basketball. Yeah. And you mentioned you went over that vision. You were with your kid and everything. What has Greater Levels grown into today? Greater Levels today, what do they offer? What's all the things that they have?
Oh man, we started a flag football program. Mm-hmm. We started volleyball. Volleyball is real good.
Okay.
We're looking into the process of actually getting into some kind of hockey type of thing. So, yeah, we get a lot of people here. You don't have hockey?
Wow.
So I don't know how to go about it. So we're looking to doing that. And, we will do any sport as long as there's someone that wants to coach it.
Right.
We'll do any sport. I mean, I don't care if it's Frisbee or badminton. We'll do it.
Right.
Because it keeps kids busy.
Definitely. I got some questions that I want to ask you about the football. Mm-hmm. We'll come back to that. But you said something interesting. You said that as long as you have someone to coach it, how hard is it to find coaches? Is that an issue, or do you feel like basically you called out and everything came through? Like how is that some of your woes? Or
sometimes it's hard to find coaches sometimes because most people, you believe it or not, they want a paycheck.
Okay,
I don't even get a paycheck.
Right.
So it's kind of like, okay, what do I do? I just say, okay, we need coaches. We'll find people that that knows a little bit about the game. And then you get parents complaining, well, he's not coaching my kids good enough. Well, I said everybody had an opportunity to coach.
Right.
Now you're complaining about the coach that you got. Why didn't you coach? So, there's some of the things that you got to deal with. But I honestly, coaching is kind of hard to get. Usually most people want a paycheck behind everything they do.
Right.
Nothing's for the love or for the kids anymore. It's all about me and what I got.
Right.
Well,
Jarvis, and I know that you cater to the kids, and you don't charge a lot. What are the costs?
We start mostly everything is starting at $75 to $85.
Okay.
And that covers basically our gyms, the shirts and stuff that they get, and there's always some kind of damages. Believe it or not, I think, almost $2,000 in damages last year. Right. Busted windows and broken doors.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of things that goes in, your insurances and things like that. We do just enough to cover what we have to, the expenses that we have. Okay. And if I was doing it for money, I ain't going to say the names of some of the organizations, but I'll be charging $175, $200.
Right, yeah, and I know that to be true because trying to get my nephew into football, it was like $200, and that was not even with the pads and equipment. And it was just to get him in there. Yeah, and it's about money to most people. To me, as long as we got what you need, we're going to make it affordable. And, down the road, if I can get it all covered, I would just tell kids to come play. I know that's right. But I can't do that right now. Well, Jarvis, we're rounding the end of our interview, and I want to ask you, how can people donate to you or is there, do you have, I know you have a website. Is that the main way to contact you? And we'll make sure we put your links up on the website and everything. But if there's any last thing that you would like to say to the people out there, and also just how to get in contact with you. Yes, just go to the website, greaterlevels.com. That's greaterlevels.com. We have a donate button on there. You can always donate to us. We're 501(c), so, it's always tax deductible. And we just want to say, hey, we're always willing to play you or play anybody, any kid. Our motto is no child left behind. And we have not left a child behind yet. That's awesome, man. We have not left a child behind yet. And I got in trouble once. I had to make a big decision one time. Okay. And, what happened? What happened? It's a big decision. Yeah, I had to make a decision. I had a family that was really, I had mentioned it to you. Oh, okay. I had a family that was just crazy. Always into something, doing this, doing that, and causing all kinds of, problems. And I had to basically cut their son from the team. Right. After talking to the parents so many times, but I had to basically cut their son from the team to keep them out. Right. And that was something I turned for a good week behind it because I didn't want to have to make that decision. But I come to grips with just saying, you know what? Parents have to understand that they affect their child one way or another from their actions, And he was a good kid, and later on down the road, he kind of saw me. He shook my hand. He's like, I was mad at first, but he goes, I understand what you did. Right. So that made me feel a lot better about what I've done. But, there's a lot of ups and downs, but I don't think you ever get it down, do you? You always hyper every time I see you. Man, I get it down, but you see, you got a support group that help you start your organization. I got a support group that helped me start Everybody Has a Story. Yeah. And Jarvis, I just want to thank you, man. You know what I'm saying? Greater Levels, they're doing awesome. My daughter actually plays for you guys. You guys are doing good works with her. She's, really she could beat me now. I don't know if I should be. Yeah, I'll say it. Didi, I'm building up, though. I'm coming back for you. You better believe it. Jarvis is going to train me. Or he's going to show somebody going to train me. You got to shave his beard first. Oh, man. See, don't say that on camera, bro. See, if my wife hear that, she's going to be like, that's two people. She's like, she's signing bills and got people like, signing papers to get rid of the beard. It's a national thing. It's crazy. But, Everybody Has a Story. Jarvis Berry. And we out.